Hi everyone, Sunstrider here, and today I'm going to quickly talk about patch 1.2 upcoming units, Blade, Kafka, and Luocha. While the previous two are to be expected, I think Luocha caught everyone off guard because nobody saw him coming in the next patch. Another interesting thing to talk about from patch 1.2 is the continuation of the story. Last time, we were left hanging by the rising conflict in the Xianzhu Luofu, and in a few more weeks, we'll see how the story unfolds as well as transform Danheng and potentially killing the Aeons of Abundance. So, if you've grown tired of managing museums and hunting things to add to the museum, then the next patch will definitely excite you and potentially bring you back to the game. So, without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Considering a lot of spoilers has been going on YouTube, there's no surprise that Blade will be coming sooner or later after patch 1.1 release. I think at this point, most of you guys are aware of what his kit is. If you are only using what's described on the video of his skill, technique, and ultimate, then ideally the kind of stats that we are going to look for him is a generic attack, crit rate, and crit damage type of stuff. But based on the information that I've read online, the key information that most players might miss is the fact that his basic attack, talent, and ultimate scales off of his percentage attack and percentage health. This is such an important information as it will greatly help you to prepare your relics in case you want to farm now. I think it's just the trend now, having healers that scale off of their HP like Luocha and attackers that benefit from having high HP. For team composition, does he benefit from having Luocha in his team? Considering what we've known so far, my answer for now is yes. I hate to spoil too much information because I hate spoilers myself. But for context, when he uses his skill, Hellscape, his basic attack is going to be enhanced from Shard Sword to Forest of Swords. In this state, each time Blade does an enhanced basic attack, he'll consume 10% of his HP. In a perfect world where the setup is right, having Luocha's Cycle of Life active when Blade on his enhanced basic attack will provide sustain to him. The sustain is important because if Blade doesn't have enough health, his health will fall to 1, and in case it's the enemy's turn next, then he exposes himself to danger. With this information, in regards to relics, I think I know what relics works best for him, and that's the champion of streetwise boxing. As a DPS, Blade will benefit from having a high attack number on him, and as we all know, at full stack, champion of streetwise boxing will provide a total of 25% attack increase. If he gets hit at the same time his talent started to count its stack, then the 25% attack increase from the relic 5 stacks will contribute to Blade's 22% attack stats dealt to the enemy. One thing that I really like from Honkai Star Rail units is when a unit can fill multiple roles as one entity. Like Luocha, who can heal and potentially attack, Jingyuan, who know is the best lightning DPS in the game. As a destruction unit, Blade can also clave via his own follow-up attack. Understanding that the unit that you can bring into the fight is limited to 4, then having a great unit like him will definitely help you in clearing any stages in the game. The key takeaway when using Blade is to provide sustain and then he will deal damage. As the very first characters that we can play, I've been waiting for Kafka's arrival as a playable character. If you have completed Simulated Universe 5, then her kit when she's released is going to be similar to the one that we fight. As an agility unit, Kafka's role is to become a pain in the ass to the enemy with her DOT application as well as DOT manipulation, where her skill, Caressing Moonlight, will deal damage to the enemy as well as enemy adjacent to it and immediately deals 80% of the DOT's original damage from all DOTs currently inflicted on the target. The same goes for her ultimate, Twilight Thrill, that has 100% chance for enemies who are hit by her ult to become shocked and receive additional damage equal to 80% of the DOT. If I were to read and describe all of her kit, you're mostly going to hear a lot of DOTs being mentioned. What I'm interested to see from her is in what game content she's going to shine the brightest. Honestly, after seeing her kit, there doesn't seem to be a breakthrough as the way I see it. Her level 1 kit doesn't seem to contribute that much.
And she can deal additional damage over time to enemies.
When we bring her to Simulated Universe where we can specifically choose the agility path and harness lots of different DOT, that's where Kafka will shine the brightest. However, when we talk about her on world exploration and world bosses, I do understand that she is going to be a good lightning unit that can potentially play as DPS, but in case you have pulled the lightning god, Jingyuan, do you really need to pull her? The case will be different if the game introduces a relic set that allows you to increase your overall DOT damage, because I personally think that it will help her dish out more damage. It turns out, her light cones, patience is all you need, is the only way, for now, where you can deal additional damage to enemies with DOT. But this can be identified as a problem on her release because she needs a premium artifacts to work. I really wanted her to work, but somehow there's no wow element to her pre-release information that made me excited in terms of combat and her kit. Hopefully it's all in my thoughts because I really want to see her work and dominate the field. Last but not least, Luocha. Honestly, this one unit caught me off guard because I'm not expecting his arrival to the game. I mean, he's not previously introduced to the game and never made any official appearance, yet suddenly he is introduced as Operation Consultant to the mole. Visually, his skill is a straightforward one where he deals damage and on certain stack will be able to enhance his basic attack and deal additional damage to enemies inflicted with bleed. His ultimate damage multiplier is a good one and that's it. If I'm being cautious and overthink his release, I think he has something to do with Kafka. Not in terms of lore, but more toward how her kit works. Remember that Kafka can immediately deal the OT's damage applied on enemies with her skill? As the game only have 4 Nihility units, aside from Sampo, there's no Nihility unit that can deal DOT. With this information, in case your Kafka really wants to manipulate another DOT and maximize her skill potential, then pulling Luocha and bringing him into the fray might be a good consideration for you. His skill has a chance to apply Bleed, burst that has a good multiplier, and if all of that checks the mark for your ideal team composition, then you know what to do. Still, I wonder who he is and why he is being released on an important banner as Blade and Kafka. Anyone who has the answer or good speculation, please enlighten me on the comment section below. Aside from 3 new characters, patch 1.2 also introduced us to 2 new enemies and 1 boss. While the enemy is simply a remodel of the one that we have now, the new boss looks like a unique one and hopefully will bring a new challenge for players. The game has been released for quite some time now and I believe that most players have explored or even mastered the majority of the game contents. It is important for Hoyoverse to bring something new to the game and by the look of this new boss on top of the story trailer, I think we are trailblazing into the right direction.